You focus a lot on violence, but never how to stop it. And actually, a lot of my content is about nonviolence and encouraging men away from violence. I just don't specifically call it out as nonviolence. For example, we talked about the 5 Ds of bystander intervention, a blueprint for nonviolent intervention. And you can find out more at righttobe.org. Being scary is a superpower, explaining why men need to reject their violent power fantasies. Or this series of videos explaining why men need to reject the dark triad and this belief that men need to be violent. As well as this entire playlist on the history of anti-feminism, helping men to understand where this hatred and rejection of femininity comes from. Which is breaking down further the topic of compensatory masculinity, where men react with anger and violence to perceived slights to their masculine identity. In fact, you can look at my entire content over the last 2 years and build a consistent narrative. That men are encouraged to perform a rigid set of behaviors, operating with a toolset that has a limited emotional intelligence and awareness. This conforms them to a stereotype where violence and anger are encouraged, rewarded, praised, and even fantasized about when directed at the right targets. Those targets are often simply those we disagree with, those who do not conform, or more dangerously, those who do not obey, those we do not control. And every part of that mindset is dangerous, destructive, and immensely harmful to society and to men themselves. And it doesn't take a huge shift in our mindset to alter this. For example, one of the phrases I use a lot in my work life is one I picked up from colleagues I greatly admire, and it is process, not people. How can we reframe a problem, reframe our own frustrations, our hurt, our anger, to look at the behaviors, process, and policies that caused it, rather than attacking someone personally? Instead of, you did this because you're a rude, inconsiderate a-hole, approaching it as, when you did this, it has the potential to cause harm. It made me feel unsafe. Helping others to see how their actions and behaviors impact people and may cause an emotional response that they had not considered. It helps in removing a lot of the personal emotion and defensiveness out of navigating conflict. Moving away from attacking the person, from making assumptions about their motivations and their character. Instead, to point out that certain behaviors need more consideration and awareness. Seeking compromise to where a person's immediate needs can still get met, but without potentially causing harm. Very few people actually wake up wanting to be a mustache-twirling villain itching to cause pain and destruction. Often our own desire to be mean or hurt others comes from our own pain and hurt. So that when we see others lashing out, we can approach that not with aggression and violence, but with curiosity, compassion, and understanding, applying the same level of energy and effort we do in justifying our own behaviors to theirs, asking what is their why behind the behavior. When we instead close ourselves off, when we assume that we already know the answer, that that person is just terrible and not deserving of our compassion or understanding, that is when we are able to justify some of the most horrific treatment of each other. One of the most dangerous phrases is, they deserve it. It's why so much of my content is about maintaining curiosity, searching for answers, being honest, keeping an open heart and open mind, and seeking other perspectives. Our lifelong goal should be a commitment to ensuring that we are examining and questioning the behaviors and processes we adhere to in everyday life in order to minimize harm and conflict.